almost the weekend, so that means one thing only. It's another episode of the Look Ahead. Obviously, we're playing Liverpool on Saturday. I've got Liverpool fan Shaun, who's excited to come on. You've probably seen his tweets. He's raring to go, and I've got my usual mate Craig on, who's going to talk all things NUFC for me. So this should be a great show. Evening, everyone. So before I bring the boys in, just two very quick things. Massive shout out to Martin on Twitter, who has done some incredible drawings of a lot of the YouTubers, and I've been lucky enough to be selected as one of them, standing right next to Rafa, my rightful place as his right-hand man. Awesome pictures, mate. Keep up the good work. And the usual, as soon as I hit 500 subscribers, you have the chance to win that amazing prize, absolutely free of charge. I don't even know why I'm not at 500 subscribers yet, so someone can actually win it, because I need to get rid of it because the missus doesn't want it in the house anymore. It's Alan Shearer's testimonial program, a retro Newcastle shirt, and a Peter Beardsley signed card, all worth about £100, and it's all yours. All I need is 500 subscribers and someone will win it. So that's the boring stuff out of the way. Let's bring the boys in. Good evening, Craig.
Good evening, Barry. How are you doing?
I'm good, you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. All good.
Good. Raring to get this going. Evening, Shaun. How are you tonight, mate?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. You're raring to go, aren't you?
Buzzing.
Awesome. So we are going to talk about Liverpool first. I mean, we cannot really get away from talking about it first either, can we? I mean, it's my internet's running slow. This is Chelsea fans protesting about it, the super greed. What are your thoughts on it, mate, as a Liverpool fan, as one of the so-called big six in the league? I know you're a huge team, don't get me wrong, but to be labelled as the six teams to have potentially broke away from the Premier League and made your own league, what were your thoughts on it, mate?
My thoughts are exactly the thoughts of everybody else. It would have killed football. It was not needed. It's the fans didn't want it, the players didn't want it, the managers didn't want it, the coaches didn't want it. Just the greedy owners wanted it, just for that one thing, money. There's enough money, I think, in the Premier League but it's again one of them things, isn't it? The more you got, the more you want, I suppose. But yeah, I was like, I put on Facebook like RIP football when I thought it was going ahead. It was gonna, but I spoke with a couple of people and I said it cannot go ahead. Surely, everybody's so against it. It literally can't go ahead. And luckily, they saw sense. I saw things about that's it. From some fans of Liverpool, like, I'm not watching Liverpool again. And somebody asked me that question, and I said, yeah, you're going to go, yeah, I'm not watching it. And then you look at your schedule and go, Liverpool are playing. You would watch it. Like, I've been a fan since 1974. Funnily enough, since the FA Cup final against Newcastle.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first Liverpool game I watched. I was 5 years old, and it was the FA Cup final against Newcastle. Yeah. Or was it in them days?
What an introduction to football, eh?
Yeah. The black and white telly. I picked the ones with the grey top on because obviously black and white against the ones in stripes, and stuck with it ever since.
Never look back.
That's it.
Awesome. Craig, what were your thoughts on the Super League? Probably the same as everybody else, I'm guessing. But how do you feel about it?
In the Bob, I can see the Super League happening at some point. It's definitely going to go ahead. What I really don't think is that the owners thought actually the kind of reaction that was going to go ahead. They've been threatening it for years, the last 30 years. Even before then, they were always been talking about a Super League, a European Super League. And it's always been that threat, hasn't it, against UEFA, give us what we want or we're leaving.
Yeah.
think this is the closest it's ever really been, and I don't think they realise the backlash that the fans and the, like you said there, Shaun, the fans, the coaches, the managers, the players, everybody's come out and just kind of said, "Nah, we're not having it." They've all climbed back down, but like I said in our chat before, but it's going to happen again. 5 years' time, when the Champions League rights get talked about again, and the Big 12, the Big Six, whoever's in charge at the time, they're going to be, well, you know, we want more of this. We want more places in the Champions League. We want more money from the Champions League. And at some point, it's gonna break and it's gonna snap. And they've seen the reaction of this time, so they're gonna go away. And Agnelli and Perez or whoever are gonna, right, how do we get around it? Do we have 2 leagues? Do I have a bit of relegation? You know, how are we gonna make it more palatable for the everyday fan, the supporter? Because they don't really need us fans here in the UK or in Europe. It's the world. It's Asia. It's the Americas is where the market is, which is burgeoning, which is where they want to make the money from it. So, you know, personally, I think at some point in the future it will happen. You know, they've got what they wanted out of the Champions League. They've got the concessions being given to them. So, I mean, would people watch it? Like you said there, Shaun, you know, Wednesday night, it's Liverpool versus Real Madrid for the 4th time of the season. You know, it's Liverpool. You support Liverpool. You're going to watch it, aren't you? You know, you're going to turn it off and wait till Sunday to watch them play brilliantly, isn't it?
Yeah. It's this is the trouble is, I think half the problem is like FIFA and UEFA in themselves have been so corrupt and so bent over the years. It's one of them ones. Do you or don't you? Do you stick? Do you twist, sort of thing, isn't it? But it's they don't help themselves basically. I don't think.
No.
Definitely not. I mean, the way I look at it is it's domestic football, so it needs to stay at home. You know, we have UEFA projects, we have the Champions League, we have the, you know, the Europa League. You know, make them more. I don't know. Put more spotlight on it. I don't know how they would do it, but give them more money. UEFA have been sucking so much money out of it. These World Club Cups and all that sort of stuff as well. You know, and yes, Craig, you are right. I mean, the money is obviously in Asia and America and places like that, but you can't rip the heart out of football in my eyes, because, again, even if you think it might happen in the future, there'll be a backlash again. The fans will always want to keep it domestic. I would get bored watching Liverpool v Real Madrid 4 times in one season and playing AC Milan and things like that, because there's no competition in my eyes when it's like that. And Ian Wright said it really well. As a footballer playing in the domestic league, you earn the right to play at the San Siro and at the Bernabeu and, you know, all those amazing grounds. And he only played AC Milan twice in his career, and he says it was an honour to be able to do that because he earned it. So you might see footballers going against it as well because they want that healthy competition, don't they? It's what drives them forward, really, isn't it? Winning medals. And
it's like a player that you know that knows going to be picked every week, like, you know, like the front three for Liverpool, like that. Basically, they know roundabout they're going to be picked every week, and is that part of the problem? You know, I've played myself. You know, you're first on the tee sheet. You're not going to try, and if you know, like every week you're going to be in Europe, regardless. Like we could finish 10th this season. It don't matter. We're still in Europe anyway. So the domestic league becomes like tedious because it's like you're just going to play for the money in Europe. You know, is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, potentially there's more money in Europe than but they've got to qualify for Europe. But I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. But yeah, it was sad to see it, wasn't it? Just the way the fans. Gary Neville went up in my estimations. I know you're probably not a massive fan of him, Shaun, being a Man United player.
Not the biggest.
Yeah, not the biggest though. But the way he came out and spoke. Did you?
Yeah.
But the way he spoke, he was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was good. Because he was like fuming, you know, and you got to say fair play to him. But no, I actually tweeted today, asked him why he hasn't asked this season to be null and void. Is there any reason? Because obviously there's been more registered infections this season than last season. Yet he wanted it. What's his agenda? I wonder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
you wouldn't have thought you'd want City to win the league either, would you?
It's what's it, asterisks on it? I think they said last season, wasn't it? Asterisks by the league this season, isn't it? That's what they said. But they've had full season of the pandemic, so they get 2 asterisks.
That for that one as well.
Got a couple of messages in there. It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bonjour, Chippers. Good to see you. Good to see you, Bella. Glad you're listening. Chippers comes up with a good point. Rick Perry's project should be an eye opener. Now this is a number 2. Matter of time before another attempt comes in. He could be right. Hi, Annie. Thanks for popping in. So the next question to ask, the last one on this whole, Super League thing, Shaun, is should the 6 clubs be punished or not, and how? What is a punishment?
I personally think no, not because Liverpool's one of them clubs, but as I pointed out today, is would you punish a whole club if one player broke some rule, like a betting, say, let's use that as an example, a player, or I could say Suarez got punished for racism. Do you punish the whole club for what Suarez did? Right? Do you punish the whole club for what John W. Emery did? Do you punish? And it's not like the whole club have gone, oh yeah, we'll do it, and we're all behind it, because they weren't. They clearly weren't. You can't punish, in my opinion, you can't punish a whole club because of one man's mistake. Or he calls it a mistake, but that's what he's saying now. But it's I personally think all they'll do is just go fine, because I don't know what actual rules were breached. Was anything signed? Was anything? We don't know sort of every detail. If nothing was signed, if it was just sort of some verbal agreement, we'll join you or whatever, or we'll put our names down. Yeah, that's fine. Have they broken any UEFA rules, any FIFA rules, any Premier League rules? We're not sure, but they can just turn around and say, "Oh, we'll just fine you and be done with it," and sit here just go,
Yeah. Well, according to the guys who were trying to create the Super League, all 12 clubs had actually signed a contract and agreement to go ahead, but they broke a Premier League rule, which was R9, I think it was, or R7.
Right, I did see something like that. It was a West Ham fan put it up, so I don't know whether it was true or not, just to try and get point deduction, because they sort of seen that, don't they? They get a point deduction, scared.
Yeah, top 4 easily for them. Yeah, what about your thoughts, Craig? Should the teams, the 6, be punished, and how do you think? What do you think's an actual punishment for them that would work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. I mean, like you say, what do you deduct them all points, and then who loses out on that? It's not. It's the fans, it's the players, it's the manager who worked harder. I mean, you've seen Klopp and Pep and all of these people who were, came out being against it, and you're penalising them for something that they probably had absolutely no interest or idea that this thing was going ahead. It was the guys behind them who made these decisions and choices. I think you mentioned about
in his interview.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, he said, I found out the same way as you lot did, sort of thing, basically.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, I think the rule that you said they were broken, the one I seen, whether it was the same post or tweet or something about they were running out of playing the listed competitions, wasn't it? Something like that. So, they've signed up, but they haven't played in any games, and, it's not going ahead. I don't think there's any kind of, the punishment's going to come from the grief that the owners they're going to get, and it's going to take them a long time to win the trust of the fans back, and most owners aren't that well liked anyway, are they? So
no.
Even Liverpool, the success you've had in the last couple of seasons, even then you still don't like the owners, so it's kind of
Liverpool fans literally don't forget. They literally don't forget. It's like, I mean, there was Anfield today. There's a thing saying thanks for your apology. I can't remember the exact wording, but thanks for your apology, John. But we won't forget this. Yeah. And that's what Liverpool fans do. They won't. It's. I mean, I tweeted the other day. Klopp out. Not Klopp out. Sorry, FSG out. FSG sign Mbappe, FSG in. It's just, that's me, my sarcasm. It's like people say, "Oh, FSG out," but I think some, like, obviously a lot of these are youngsters, and I don't think they actually realise it's not like they can get sacked. They own the club. They have to be able to say,
Yeah, exactly.
It's valued at $3 billion, and what do you get in? Do you get like your guy? You know, I mean, I think it's as mad as a box of frogs anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Some few messages coming about it. Find the owners personally. Andy says, hi Andy, by the way. Paul, Paul, thanks for watching. He thinks a points deduction for start of next season and transfer embargo.
Transfer
Chippers
embargo
agrees with
might be
him.
something.
Chippers always agrees. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, personally, myself, there's one more. I really feel for the fans of the clubs involved, but something's got to be done. Yeah, I think the reason why something's got to be done is to stop them from trying to do it again. I guess that's why they've got to come down on them a little bit harsh. Now, personally, I feel sorry for the fans, for the give them Joe Linton for 6 months. Could you imagine Joe Linton in a Liverpool team? No thanks. I feel sorry for you then as well, definitely. It's a good punishment. But the fans, the managers, the players, them three, they had nothing to do with it. So for them to be deducted points for this season, to be banned from competitions that they've worked so hard to get into semi-finals or finals, to be in the top 4, would be really harsh in my eyes. And I said one of the things should do.
Champions again.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we would have 5 Premier League titles and 2 FA Cups if the barges all. It would be great. But the 2 punishments I would like to see, and Paul's mentioned one of them, is a transfer embargo for the summer and a big hefty fine to the owners. And I think that is fair enough in my eyes, that it doesn't affect the players that are at the club because they're going to play. They've got, they don't have to worry about losing their place. It affects the manager a little bit because they might want to change things up, but not massively. But if you're starting a league with 20 points deduction next season,
they'll still win the league.
Your 6 teams. Well, Man City will probably still win the league, and Liverpool will come close, but Arsenal will probably get relegated because they're that bad. Tottenham might finish mid-table, you never know, but they're in massive trouble, aren't they?
Yeah, but I feel a transfer embargo would affect Tottenham because wouldn't affect Tottenham as bad because nobody's going to go there anyway, are they?
Well, they need to sell players as well because they're in that much debt. So it's crazy when you look at the figures. But yeah, what's this one? Only thing is, we've got 15 years of shit and Ashley, and nothing has been mentioned. Yeah, as soon as the big 6. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, Mike Ashley's got the media under his thumb though, and we're used to that by now. But let's move on to the actual game. Let's move on to some football for a change. Let's stop talking about this 6. It's happened. It's gone. It's done and dusted. Let's talk about this man, because I absolutely love Jurgen Klopp. I've always been a fan of him when he was at Dortmund. Someone asked me a question quite a long time ago, and it was, if you could have anyone managing your club right now, who would it be? And I said this man, and this was before he came to Liverpool. And I said, if we had new owners, because Mike Ashley would never go and get him, he's the man I would want managing my club. Passion, he's tactically aware. He knows how to high press. The football you play is sensational at times. Got found out a little bit this season. I don't know why, but what's your thoughts on Klopp and his time at Liverpool so far, Shaun?
I just feel sometimes he hasn't got a plan B. He just relies on what he just he's got this structure, go for it, like you say, the high press, etc. And sometimes the plan B goes out the window a little bit. And like you say, he's been found out. And what they're doing is the defense is rather than watching Salah and everything, they're stopping the supply this season rather than stopping the man. Do you get what I mean? I feel that's what they're doing. They're trying to Robinson seems to I don't know. He's not the same. I'm not saying he's not the same player because he is, but what he's doing is he's playing backwards because the supply's been cut. Just close them 2 down, and don't let them get the ball in, and they're not going to score as many goals. And that's what's happening. I think that's definitely what's happening. I mean, Jota's coming to the side and he runs a bit different. So again, that's why he scored a few goals because he's gone, oh, hang on, there's something new. Do you get what I mean? So, but Klopp, my days, just want to hug him, come here. But I think you were saying, if he went to Newcastle, would be the type of team he'd go to, a team that he could it's not about money, having a big checkbook. It's about a team that you like, fans, which is what you're famous for as well. You know, you got like passionate fans, etc. He loves all that, don't he? Like, you know, and if he had gone to you, you'd have been up there, absolutely, without a doubt, because he can polish a turd, basically.
I mean, we've got some decent turds at our club that need a proper manager to polish them. That's the problem, and we don't have one, do we? So,
I just can't stand your manager. Just like, not just because, like, whatever club he goes to, like Steve Bruce he's just a massive turnip, and I just can't stand him. He's like, he's all, like, not just the manager, obviously Man United as well, but it looks like his head looks like a medicine ball. It's just like, oh mate, just give it a rest.
I love it. Craig, what's your thoughts on Klopp?
Yeah, I mean, you've said pretty much. I mean, he's just a bullion, isn't he? He's just, you listen to him, you want to listen to him again and talk, and you know, he's fiery. He's a character. You would want to go for a pint with him, but you know, he's turned the team. You know, before you turned up, Liverpool weren't all that fantastic. He's come in and he's had his idea. He's taken it, and he's been given a few quid to bring in the players that he wanted. He knew who he wanted and knew which players were going to fit in the system and the way he wanted to play. And yeah, I mean, the last 2 seasons have been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, won it last year, won the Champions League. This season, like you say, he's been found out. But you know, I think, like you say, Plan B. Once you've lost Van Dijk, I think that was massive. And then I think, like you say, he's been trying to get that back too. And then once you got your centre halves in, didn't it? It kind of, Fabinho went back in the midfield and it looked a bit more solid. But you know,
we do miss our crowd. I think pretty much same as like you. There are clubs that do miss that, like Palace, for instance. I mean, they're going to be shy every week, aren't they? But their fans are brilliant, like, and you know. But then you get the West Ham, which have boo boys. You know what I mean? Spurs have boo boys, boo half time, and if you look at like how well West Ham are doing, they're thriving on not having fans, because they can just play, they can mess up, and there's no. Whereas like with your boys, with Anfield, they get behind the team. You know, you get frustrated, and you're like, oh, that's shocking, or words to that effect. But generally the fans get behind them, you know, and it's like in their own clubs going.
Yeah.
I think if fans were in the ground for St James's Park at the moment, though, I don't think Steve Bruce would still be manager, to be honest with you. I think they'll be really hostile. But when the team needs were, like you say, we are there for them. We try and roll them on. We do our best, but I think it'll be too toxic at the moment. I really do. He's lost everyone, hasn't he? In my eyes.
Yeah.
But we're going to come on to him later, because I don't want to ruin our little conversation about our cabbage. We'll do that in a bit. A few more points on Liverpool, because obviously this guy's been in the news quite a lot recently, saying he's not the best fullback that we have in England, and there's people ahead of him. He's still young. He's still obviously a huge talent. Scored a winner 4 years a couple of games ago, which was really good for me, because I had the Sky Bet boost and it won me 60 quid. So I was quite happy. What are your thoughts on Trent, Shaun?
I think he's brilliant. He's just defensively can be a bit, you know, but again, he's still a kid, still learning. He's going to make mistakes. He's got pace. He can kick a ball. I don't know if you've noticed. He can half cross a ball. So you know, and I think like he's got a good attitude as well, which is massive. I think, especially at that level, like having the right attitude. Like, you know, he was dropped from the England squad. He didn't cry about it. Just got on with it. And obviously proved Southgate a little bit wrong, because he just went out and upped his game a little bit. It's what he needed, because he did have a slump. But again, is that because he's coming into the Liverpool side in what we would say the glory times, and so that's what he's used to. And all of a sudden, we're not, you know, we've dropped, and it's just he's in a realm that he's not used to. So, but it's like you've got to deal with it, because you know, to, like I've always said, to be a winner, you've got to learn to lose, haven't you? And that's probably something he's not used to. It's probably something he's not used to. But I think he's, you know, he's definitely he should definitely play in the Euros or be in the squad for the Euros, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, because if he whips a ball in for Harry Kane or whatever to just a little tap him, you know, from 3 yards, whatever, we're all going to love it, no matter what your colours, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I love watching you guys play at times when you're, full throttle going forward, and him and Robertson just have that relationship. It's just a shame Robertson's not English and he's bloody Scottish. It's a bit like when Ryan Giggs was Welsh. We need that kind of, if we had that relationship with them two, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Craig, what are your thoughts? Obviously, you've read the news and watched all the stuff that's going on with Trent. And do you think he's the main man for England, or is he definitely worth a squad number?
Oh, I definitely think he needs to be in the squad. I mean, I think we talked last week about how many good right backs we've got, but I would still put Trent top 2 of that, definitely. I think we talked about it before, didn't we? Mentioned, the challenge in the team, that I don't think there's anybody at Liverpool anywhere near his ability at right back. So he's first name on the team sheet. You kind of, you form, you have a few bad games. It's like, well, nobody's going to take my place anyway, either. So I can, like you say, getting dropped from the England team was maybe the kick up the backside that he needed. It was like, well, do you know what? I'm better than this. So let's put in a performance. Let's put in a, and then he's, like you say, he can cross the ball. He's a fantastic player, and I think he should definitely be starting right back for England in the Euros.
Yeah, definitely in the squad, awesome. I'd say. But yeah, also, and like I say, because it's not just, I say defensively. Sometimes he can rabbit in headlights, but it's not all the time. But he can, when he's on it, he's on it, and he's like, he wins everything. Like against Barcelona in the semi-final at Anfield, when we won the Champions League, it was just like he was on fire, and obviously that quickly taken corner, but like the whole game he was brilliant. And when he's on his game, he's on his game, and they say even if he's having a bad game, he can still whip a ball like nobody, So
especially from right back as well. I mean, that quickly taken corner, I mean, it seems an easy pass. It's the intelligence to be able to see that, the in-game intelligence to realise that they weren't watching, and you don't have to wait for a whistle, do you, for a corner? You just bang it in, and he did. And
against Barcelona as well. Against Barcelona as well, having that confidence and that arrogance to do it against like one of the biggest teams in the world,
Yeah, 100%. So this brings me on to 2 of your front 3, because I work with a lot of Liverpool fans, and I've heard some rumours these two don't get on. I mean, Sado's face there, he doesn't look too impressed Salah looks like he scored a goal and he's congratulating him in a way that he doesn't look too very happy about it. But I've heard they don't like passing to each other to score goals, because they don't really have that relationship, and which I find crazy for such an amazing front 3 that you've got, and the amount of goals they scored when you won the league. They've just gone off the boil this season. And I know you mentioned about maybe getting found out, but great players find a way. And Sadio Mane, for me, is one of the best players in the Premier League. He's got the best attitude in the Premier League, certainly of anyone that I've ever read and heard of. I mean, Shaun, what is going on with these two? What's going wrong?
I personally think that Salah is like a Harry Kane type of person. Like his main things, I want to score a goal. Like he wants to get the golden boot. He loves the golden boot. He loves scoring goals. He absolutely loves it. Mane does as well. But I don't think that there's any problem between the two of them. I just sometimes Mane could look up, sometimes Salah could look up, but they're both like wingers that have been transformed into strikers basically, and they're hungry to score goals, which is healthy, but sometimes so I think it's just a healthy rivalry, to be honest, because obviously they're both this doesn't come into it, but they're both of the same religion as well, so I don't. And they're both very peaceful men. I mean, Mane's always helping out at his mosque and stuff. Like he'll go after a game and he'll think nothing of sweeping the toilets out. There's been videos, and they're both very peaceful men from what I've seen, in the media and some of their videos. And I don't think hatred is or dislike towards each other is partly. I just think on the pitch they got this healthy rivalry. They want to be but like last season, Mane was just on fire. Like he could just walk past the ball and it would just land in the right place, you know. But this season, I know I watched Through the Storm, the documentary, and they interviewed various players, and Manny actually said like, "Oh, I'm very lonely because obviously he's in a foreign country and because of the lockdown he can't travel." And he said, "Oh, you know, I'm very lonely. I miss my family." And it might, you know, it's not obviously just Liverpool players. It's probably all the foreign players. It must affect some players. Some players obviously like just living the dream and like the high life, but I don't know how much money you get, because I see things like that. They've got all this money, but yeah, you still like miss your family. You know, it happens. And Bobby Firmino was another one. He actually said like, he said it in Portuguese, but he said like, I'm struggling, and that could be why he's you know he admitted that he's struggling. You know, but it's they're human beings at the end of the day. It happens.
They're not robots, are they? Then
no.
This is what a lot of people forget. And you know, money doesn't give you happiness, and that's obviously proven the point there. That you know, family means everything to these guys, and you know, they're in different countries to what they used to as well. I find it really sad sometimes hearing about foreign players coming, not bringing the family with them, and wanting to get settled. But life of a footballer, it could be a season, 2 seasons, and maybe they don't want to move the family because of that. And it's a short career, and they've got to enjoy it, I suppose. But it's a good insight, because I've not really heard that before. You know, the people I work with, maybe they're just not as big a fan as you are, and you know more about it than they do. I hope they're watching so they can hear that.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's like, it's not just Liverpool players. Yeah. Like, I mean, obviously Alisson Becker's dad drowning, etc. That must be awful. Like not being able to go to his funeral as well, and being in a foreign country. But obviously there are other players that have been. Was it Pogba's mum died during the end of? Was it towards either the beginning of this season? I can't remember. But Pogba's mum died as well, and it's like, so, you know, it happens to other players as well. And so it affects players. You know, like anything like that will affect players differently, won't it? So it's. So Mane and Firmino both come out and said it in this documentary that they're not coping well with it, and it must affect them on the pitch, which that could be part. I'm not saying the reason Mane isn't in form, but it could play a part. But I don't think they're two like hate each other at all. Not at all. I just think it's just healthy rivalry, and next season maybe, you know, once it all gets back to normal, bang. What they do.
I think also, you know, if you're winning or, you know, top of the league, I don't think stories like that come out, do they? You know, if they were scoring and winning and doing that, it's, you know, it's people you're putting a spin or a slant on why are Liverpool losing, or, you know, why aren't they as great as they were? And, you know, that picture, Marnie doesn't like Salah, he didn't smile when he scored a goal, you know, it's kind of.
Because that's the other one. That's the other one where Mane hasn't gone down for. There's been a couple of occasions where he's contacted penalty area and hasn't gone down, and some of the stories are he's not gone down because he doesn't want to give away a penalty because he knows Salah will be the penalty taker. I mean, that's just absolute nonsense. Like, I think all that is he's just so wants to score some goals, so he's like, I'm gonna stay on my feet. I want this. And again, it's refereeing in this country, isn't it?
That's true.
Get me started on that.
VAR. We'll be here for 2 hours talking about that. We'll skip that one tonight. Dave says, "Hi Barry and lads. We're all well as far as I'm aware." Chippers, is it me or does Klopp get his teeth whitened? He probably does get it whitened. He's got the money to do it.
They all go to the same. They all go. True story. They all go to the same dentist. Because Bobby Firmino, when he came into the country, had like these little tiny milk teeth. Went to see this guy, and all of a sudden, obviously, Bobby Firmino's just like ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, and apparently that they all use this one guy. So that's where they all visit. That's the story. It's this one guy that does also for the Liverpool team. Yeah.
Brilliant. I am laughing a lot at that comment because I do a show on a Monday night, and we've got a guy on it called John Sinclair, and he's got bright teeth as well, and we're all saying he's going to get a Colgate sponsor and all this sort of stuff. So everyone's been to see John, and here it comes. The 2 review think Klopp uses the same toothpaste as John. Oh man. Let's have a look. Not as white as Johnson players. Yeah, they're all coming in now. Oh God, no! You do not need Joe Linton. Liverpool cut through our midfielder. Shelby is playing. Yeah, probably right, Paul. We'll get onto that when
I love Shelby's haircut, to be honest.
Teams. Yeah. West Brom getting battered 3-0. I can smell another Premier League season with Bacon. Is it 3-0? Is it?
Yeah. I just got to say, I got it in the background. I had a quick glance. Obviously, from my point of view, I was hoping for a draw at least. But
I know.
It'll be nice. It'll actually be nice to see Sam actually get relegated, though, won't it?
It will.
Yeah.
See you later, fat man.
He's not wrong with this one. But we'll get on to about who's in our midfield potentially. But Andy, double-edged sword. Glad that it looks like we're staying up. Sad it's another crap season looming. Yeah, it does look like that way. True, Dave. Can't see anything being realistic. I mean, if we do stay up, which it looks like we are, if the takeover doesn't happen, we're back down again. And the one thing I am worried about is we could lose at least two of them as well. Craig, what happens if we lose Midgie? I'm going to call him Midgie now because I'm not on someone else's show. I know people like calling him Miggy, but I call him Midgie. And ASM, I think them two are in big danger of leaving our club in the summer. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's almost a good. Well, I'd say it's a good thing that they're being coveted because they're performing well and they're doing well. But in a poorly performing team, it doesn't take a great deal to stand out from the crowd. They've been, since the sign, they've been really good. They've been fantastic signings. It's, you'd think, how much are you going to make from them? 30 million each. Where does that money go? Is that going to get spent on another?
I'd want more.
Yeah,
I'll get you in the Super League, won't it?
Well, quite possibly, yeah. So
I mean, if you think of the age of ASM, he's only 23.
Yeah.
If he could stop getting injured and the performances he puts in, there you go. I'd be looking more 50, 60.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a massive loss if we lose any one of them because the chances are whoever Ashley stays in, whoever he's going to bring in, he's been very hit and miss the last few years over signings. Them two, Amaron and ASM, have been really good, and let's hope if they can replace them, they replace them with players of the same kind of ability and quality.
I had a straight swap Divock Origi for ASM.
Yeah, maybe not. Origi and Joe Little up front. That's a frightening thought, isn't it?
You can put Origi in for as a sweetener. I think for the deal is probably the best way to put it.
I think it plays so well under Klopp.
I think he would. Yeah,
I think Almiron would be the one who would probably suit your kind of style. I don't think ASM's a club player, is he? He's a bit
worker.
Yeah. There's not much gegenpressing going on with Maximin, but
Almiron's more our Mane without the quality. I mean, he's got quality, but not as quality as Mane, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
but his final ball
his socks off, and
it's not as.
But again, he's down to coaching.
Could
be down to the coaching again, isn't it? Yeah. Because I mean,
but
Steve Bruce is known for his technical.
No.
Yeah.
When he signed, he played. How long did it go before he made an assist or scored a goal? It was he ran and everybody.
The next season, yeah.
It was it's he gets away with his lack of end product due to his hard work. So it's I don't think he's scored an awful lot of goals or created many assists this season either, has he? But nobody's calling for him because he puts in a shift, and I think that's one thing or another, isn't it? You need some end product, or you need to put in an effort, and the fans can see it, and he's going, you know what, it'll come good, or you're getting into the positions. It's things like that. It's a different way of that the fans look at players, and you could score 30 goals a season and do but all else, and you'll be all right, or you could run around like a midge and score 0 goals, and the fans still kind of cut you a bit of slack, don't they? It's kind of you need one or the other instead of something like
fans
Shelby.
fans do love, in my
Hard
opinion.
work.
Oh, yeah, somebody like that just will put it in, like wear the badge and play for the badge sort of thing. Oh, I mean, modern day football, no player really plays for the badge as such. That day's gone now, and Mark Noble's the only one left really that does that. But well, I'd say Jordan Henderson does, but he's sort of up your way, and I won't say it. I won't say
He's a
the
Mackham.
yeah. But no, but you get what I mean. Like, there's not many players that actually play like that for the sleeve. But like, if you've got a player that will like run, even if they run for like 80 minutes, and like you can see they can't do that extra 10 and come off, they're going to get, they're going to get that because they've run their lungs out, sort of thing.
I know Almiron didn't have the end product and the assist, but if you looked at the way Rafa integrated him into the team and the running that he did, he opened up a lot of space for other people. Even though he might not have touched the ball, people were worried about him. So he dragged players away, and that to me is as good as an assist at times, because if you're attracting two players, three players to you, you're opening space for other people. So
you can be on the touchline and create a goal, isn't it? You could create a big hole in the middle there for some bang.
Exactly. And our performances got much better when he was in the team. So yeah. Well, that's how we scored the goal against Spurs. There was also the goal against Southampton, I think, as well, with the closing down when the keeper made a mistake. You know, he was there, he was on it, you know, and that's what he's like. There's another guy, unfortunately, I haven't got a picture of him because I was at work when I was doing all this and I forgot about him. But Joe Willock, 3 goals since he's come from Arsenal on loan. They're quoting 20 million for him. Which could wipe out our whole transfer budget in the summer if we don't have a takeover.
It's like they've just opened a Sports Direct around me, so they might be like 21 million.
There you are, then you see. So so I'd lose us with 1 million left. But it's for me, I mean, personally, I think he reminds me a little bit of Rob Lee. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time as a box-to-box midfielder. Would you agree with that? Would you like to see him sign on the dotted line?
Yeah, I think. I mean, you think now, I mean, 20 million. It sounds a lot, but it's not. You know, that's the average Premier League kind of squad players, 20 million. So, I mean, things that he's done for us this season, he scored a few goals. He's got some winners. Is it 7 points he's won us this season? Which is,
7 points,
that's enough to keep you there. And I can't imagine he's going to be asking stupid money either. You know, just being a young kid, he's probably, he'd be asking a reasonable kind of amount. So, that's, I would sign him up if that's the kind of money
the manager. Absolutely thrive.
Again, Steve Bruce is not the manager.
Sorry, keep bringing it
out. Scares me. I know, it scares me. Well, we're coming on to him next. But what do you think of Joe Willock, Shaun? Do you think he's shown enough as a Newcastle player to stay?
I think he's one of them players that needs game time, and obviously he wasn't getting that at Arsenal. So I think he's made that's a good move for him to come to you. And I think once you get the fans, I think he'll thrive even more under the fans, chanting his name and whatever. And I think he'll do all right. He just seems like them that loves all the, all the cheering and all that. To say, obviously, manager, but I think like you say, for 20 million, absolute steal. And like for instance, if you got Rafa back, for instance, he would absolutely thrive. Absolutely thrive.
Yeah. I agree. He's got such an old head on young shoulders as well. When you listen to his interviews afterwards and the way he talks, very, very well spoken for such a young age, which is nice to see. But the only thing I'm worried about is agents. Agents will get as much money out of the club as they possibly can for him. So you might not ask for a lot, but his agent will be asking for it.
and then they talk about banishing clubs for the Super League. Do you get what I mean? This is one of the biggest corruptions I think in football is agents. Agents are in football. They're pricing like a lot of players out of the market, etc. When some of these agents come in, some of these big agents are getting more than what you want to pay for Joe Willock. Do you get what I mean? It's like, wow.
Yeah.
For what?
It's crazy.
For what? Sending an email.
Yeah. Send in a YouTube video. Watch this guy.
And who doesn't know who Pogba or Haaland or these players are anyway?
Yeah,
It's like, well,
exactly.
Do you need an agent to be able to sell some of these superstars? It's like, but take the
mental, isn't it? So we have mentioned him a few times tonight. We've got to talk about him, haven't we? I mean, look at that nose. He is our cabbage, Shaun. Obviously, you're not a massive fan of him, being he's obviously a Man United legend in their eyes. You know, he first Man United player to lift the Premier League trophy for Man United. 2 headers against Sheffield Wednesday. I remember really well because I just loved football back when I was a kid and I watched all the games. So, what's your thoughts on Steve Bruce as a Newcastle manager? Forget about what he's done elsewhere, but as a Newcastle manager.
I mean, obviously he was a defender, so that's his thing. He knows defending, and that's what he's relying on. And you know, obviously I'm not going to be rude about your team, but what he's got in his head, I don't think that you're quite good enough at the back, if you know what I mean. It's but I just think everywhere he goes, he's just shocking. Just nobody's ever gone, oh, I'd love to get Steve Bruce in, have they? And anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's gone. It's like West Brom. They think, oh, I'd love to have Steve Bruce at my club. What if I to little Steve Bruce, magic mate? It's never happened, is it?
Well, apparently he was our 11th or 14th choice manager for the job, and then we end up paying like 6.5 million to get him out with the Sheffield Wednesday job, and that says everything about what we're doing. We went to a mid-table championship team to get a manager in the Premier League. It's crazy. I mean, he had a massive budget at Villa and couldn't get them up. I know they got beat in the playoffs, but when you've got Grealish and the squad that he had in that championship, he should have been top 2. Might not have won the league, but he should have finished first or second. And he failed to do that. He failed to do the job that he was paid to do. And
man couldn't even get in the England squad. He didn't even get in the England squad, did he? So he didn't even play for England. I just think that Mike Ashley must have just bribed him with a 20% off loyalty card at Sports Direct or something. I don't know.
Greg's.
Greg's, Definitely Jesus.
Greg, I ask you
he looks like just a really poor boxer in his day, doesn't he? Just he's just doing smack around a ring every single time.
He's the journeyman of the boxing world.
That's it. B-Tech journeyman.
I love it. Go on, Craig. I know I ask you every week, but Steve Bruce,
he's been pretty quiet this week, though, hasn't he? He's been pretty quiet. He hasn't. Well, we haven't had his press conference yet, so we don't know what words of wisdom he's going to come up with. But it's he's going to end up keeping his job, isn't he? They're going to stay up. He's going to keep there. He's not going to get sacked. I just read a stat there. I thought it was quite interesting. It's over 12 years since Steve Bruce has won 3 Premier League games in a row.
So apparently he's done that already. Remember, the draw against Spurs was a win, wasn't it? Wasn't it? According to him,
he's not going to get it.
No,
he's not going to get
it. Mike Ashley's a money man, and all the time, Steve Bruce is making him money. He don't care. He's proven he don't care about your club. He proved that years ago, didn't he? It's just a money spinning thing for him. Perhaps even somewhere where he can write some tax debts off or whatever. And that's all. That's all Mike Ashley. That's all, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but in my opinion, that's all he's doing.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on with that. But I don't know if you heard his interview after the Burnley game. Obviously, we drew with Spurs 2-2. Then we beat Burnley, and he came out and he said, "Oh yeah, it's great to get back-to-back wins." Yeah, exactly. So we've had back-to-back wins now.
Exactly. Obviously won't watching. Pay attention, Steve. Son. It's probably swelling around his eyes. He couldn't see anything.
Yeah. He didn't realise it was 2-2, not 3-2.
God,
terrible. Oh God, yeah. He pains me to talk about.
I actually don't know. Is he a Mackem or a Geordie?
He's meant to be a Geordie. He was born in Wallsend, wasn't he?
Well, he's Hexham, isn't he? Hexham or Corbridge or somewhere.
But I think he lived in Wallsend. He played for Wallsend Boys Club.
Plays for Wallsend Boys Club,
yeah. Which is our main our club that normally gets the Michael Carrick's, them lot, the feeders. But then they always end up going to Southampton or West Ham for some strange reason. But that's the way the world works with us at times. I think even Chelsea have struck a deal with a club in the northeast to get the youngsters that are coming through, and where, we're not even doing these things. It's just
I think with Chelsea, you have to list clubs that they haven't made a deal with. It'd be easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In the world, not just England, just the world. They got association with every club going.
They have, yeah. But again, I mean, it shows how many players they've got, and they make money from it as well, don't they? So you can't blame them. It's just we're not. You would have thought Mike Ashley, as a businessman, would be clever enough to realise, get the youth in, find the good players, nurture them through, and then you can sell them on for a bigger fee. Instead of buying a 19, 20-year-old for 20 million from Arsenal, you could have found them for nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah. But the thing is, what's ironic is he's a money man, businessman who runs sport shops, but doesn't really know anything about sport.
No, that's it, isn't it?
True.
And he's been there long enough that we could have spent 10 million on the training ground on day one, and it would have paid it back in spades by now, wouldn't it? It's kind of
exactly
invest all the way back then. But
14 years we've had of him. Can you believe it?
Sorry,
but anyway, that's a different story, isn't it? So I'm gonna move you around a little bit. That's better. Get my ugly mug blocked. Shaun, talk us through what you think Klopp's going to do on Saturday with your team selection, mate.
Right, I've gone with that, but because I tried to have a look to see, because Phillips had a bit of a pull last week against Leeds on Monday, so I'm hoping he'll be fit, because he might be shuffled around if he still isn't fit. So Milner's started as well, so obviously he's about 78 now, so he'll need a rest. So that's why I've gone with Thiago back in, Milner out, and he does seem to shuffle the front three a little bit now. Now we've got Jota, because Mane missed out against Leeds, so I think Salah missed out against Leeds, so I think Salah will be back in, and it'll be Bobby's turn to sit on the bench this game, because he's done it with Mane the other week, and I think he does, and he's done it with Jota. So I think the front three is like shifting around a bit. So if Phillips isn't right, obviously Fabinho drop there, and Thiago, probably Milner again. So it's obviously the left and right back pick themselves, which we were saying. Kabak, him, like his first game, people going, give the lad a chance. He's 22, it's his first game, but he's for somebody that's been playing, straight in it from day one for not very long. He's doing very well, for a young kid. So I just think, but like it could be like Klopp just gets up Friday morning, like tomorrow morning, and just goes, I've got no idea. You just don't know, It's what I'll do is I'll play. I think Curtis Jones is injured, but but that's what I think he'll go with that, to be honest. Because Milner started against Leeds, and I think that he's got and he started him against Leeds with this game in mind. With so that's why Thiago, I think, will play instead of him.
Right.
And Man with Gini, I think he wants to keep him, so he's trying to keep him as sweet as possible. So go on, we'll let you play. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. But that's what I think that he'll go for. That's not from what I think. That's what I think that
that's perfect. That's what we asked for.
We
asked what you think the manager's going to do.
Yeah, that's what I think he'll do, because he rotates the front three. He seems to. Milner and Thiago rotate them a little bit. So, and again, it depends on whether Phillips, who breath of fresh air, old school. Again, he's actually older than what people think, and he's just sat there patiently. He's on a few quid, obviously, don't care. But then he's been asked to do a job, and people go, hello, where's he been hiding? So, brilliant in the air, like just old school. And that's what I'm like, because of my age. I like some of them old school players, like a bit of the old school.
He's like Trump of the football world. I don't know what that one is, Andy. Who's like Trump of the football world? Mike Ashley, I'm guessing. But yeah, I think he's a bit late with that comment, because we've gone past that conversation now, haven't we? But
he's on
going
back
to your team.
Time zone,
he's on time. He is in Greece, to be fair. So,
right. Probably got lost under the sea somewhere on its way.
Yeah. Going back to your team, I mean, Ginny, obviously, was a Newcastle player for a short period of time, and we loved him. We'd take him back any day of the week. He'll never come back to us, but we would definitely take him back. But the biggest signing for you guys was Jota. I mean, he just fitted into the team so well, and he kept coming off the bench and scoring, kept getting dropped, and I thought, what else has he got to do? And then he's been given his chance, and he's took it with both hands, and then he got injured, which was such a shame. But
in a pointless game as well. He got injured in a game that pointless game against Midtjylland. Didn't need to play him.
Yeah,
we could have should just played anybody, but it's. But apparently, I heard that Klopp had been looking at him for a while and fancied him, so and he got his man.
It's definitely given you a few more options up there as well, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Last few seasons with just Mane, Salah, and Firmino, obviously, that was they can't play 38 games plus Champions League plus every game, can they? So, and that's kind of freshened it up a bit, hasn't it, as well? So. Yeah. And like you say, he's done well.
I mean, look at Wolves since he's left. Says it all, doesn't it? How good he is.
Yeah, it's
that looks a strong team in my eyes. I mean, where do you think the weaknesses would be for someone like ASM, Midgie, Wilson? Could you see that back five in a way with him sitting? Do you back four? Do you see us getting past that at all?
I think because on his day, he's obviously quality for you, and I think that he needs to get at Robertson if he's going to obviously don't tell him that, but I think he needs to get at Robertson. If he gets down there and gets at Robertson,
ASM, Robertson, mate.
I think that's what he needs to do. I think come down our left, and I think that's where. But obviously we've got Fabinho there, just tidies everything up. It's got a little dustpan and brush.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about attacking Robinson is Robertson's Scottish, and he's not afraid of a tackle. And ASM is like glass, and if Robertson hits him hard enough, that could be his season finished with. So you might be better off just trying to go through the middle.
I mean, obviously I haven't watched him play that much ASM, but it's. I'm talking about. I mean, Robinson. Obviously, if he has a blinder, he'll just stick in Rose head, and say, "Hello, I'm here," just let you know. But if he doesn't, I think he can turn him because he hasn't been the player of last year, but again, confidence.
Yeah, and again, the pandemic has a lot to say about it, doesn't it? And all that sort of stuff. So completely agree. Thanks for that, Shaun. We're going to jump on to Craig now, and we're going to look at your what you think Bruce is going to do. I think you mentioned to me unchanged.
Yeah, it didn't take long. I think when I was looking at it last week, I think the only real issue I had was whether ASM and Wilson would both start. It was a case of which one would, if he was going to only start one of them, which one. And obviously last game weekend he started ASM and Joe Linton. But I think Wilson's had another week of training, although I don't know how much he's done because I think he wasn't appearing in any of the photos earlier on or how fit he is. But you think, he has to start at some point. He can't just keep sitting him on the bench. He has to give him some game time because, although it's looking as though we are verging on safe, would need him for those last two games, which are the ones we're going to need to win. It's going to go down to those. So I think giving him a run out could always bring him off. And then I think, they're a bit more attacking. They look against West Ham. They did kind of the first half. They pushed forward. They sent men forward in droves. They went for West Ham. Okay. It helps when the opposition go down to 10 men and you got a bit more space to go at them. I think he seems to have gone with that more attacking mentality at the minute. So you look at it, the triumvirate of the ASM, Wilson and Almiron, the quality players who can create anything. And you look at that Liverpool team and you struggle to find weaknesses, really. you're saying about Robertson, he can be get at, but ASM, the last few games he's gone down the right, has he gone down the left? Which side is he going to go at? They're the kind of things that head coaches and managers look at and be able to create your tactics around where to go. And like say Kabak and Phillips haven't, they don't, they're defenders, aren't they? They're solid defenders. They're not as good on the ball as Van Dijk or Matip or Gomez. But they're defenders. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a hard game. They're a good team, Liverpool, without a shadow of a doubt. And like we mentioned earlier, we've won one game at Anfield in the Premier League. 29 years. It was a cracking 2-0 victory. I remember it like it was yesterday. Andy Cole scored.
Great goal. Was it in black and white?
Yeah, it was.
Was the game in black and white on Pathé News?
Yeah, quite possibly was. Yeah.
I will tell you one game where I know we beat yous, and it was one of the most standout goals I've ever seen at Anfield from a Newcastle player. It was in the Coca-Cola Cup. That's how long ago it was. And it was Steve Watson with the winner.
That was
normally our right back, but we were struggling, so he shoved Steve Watson up front, and he got the ball, and he looked around, and he went, "There's nobody around to pass the ball to." So he took on 3 of your players, and then just beautifully guided it into the top corner of his left foot. It was unbelievable,
wasn't it? Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was like, where did that come from?
I know.
And if you asked him to do it again after that, he not a chance. That was his one shining moment. And he probably every Christmas sits the kids around the telly. Yeah, I'll tell you about this goal I scored.
I love Steve Watson. He was a great player.
As well, yeah.
It was just an unbelievable goal. But I'll tell you one player that for me stood out for Newcastle recently. I don't know if you've seen much of it, Shaun, but Matt Ritchie. For me, he should be our captain, him or Dubravka. Some of the tweets I've seen because you don't see it when you're watching the game, but when people retweet it out later, did you see the last 2 times he's put a whipping ball in and we've scored? When he crosses the ball, he's like jumping up, heading it himself and everything. He's like, "Go on, get into that, son." Yeah,
I haven't seen that. I'll look for it.
Yeah, I can go back through my tweets and see if you can see it. And he literally whips it in, and he looks, he jumps, and he goes like, "Boom, yeah!" And he starts running and celebrating. It's unbelievable. And that just shows you the passion of the guy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Start of the season, they had all this falling out. But I would, for me personally, give him the captain's armband. He's proven he's worth his weight in gold, really, playing at that left wing back. And I wouldn't have anybody else there at the moment, and I'd have him going into next season with it as well. I know he's getting on, but it's that passion, that desire that we were missing.
I think.
I
was gonna say, I reckon John Joe will play and end up getting 2 yellows because he's just a lunatic at times, isn't he? I kind of like him, but he's just a lunatic.
That's the only change I would make from that team is I would take the captain's armband off and give it to Ritchie, and I'd put Willock in where Shelby is, but he won't do it. Steve Bruce will not do it.
No. And he'll still play Joe Linton up front with one of them.
Yeah.
Some of these managers are told not to, though, aren't they? They're told, like, make sure you play like him or play him, It goes on, everybody knows it goes on. So, if an owner's just paid, like, the owner doesn't understand football and like rotation stuff like that. Oh, I've just paid like say 40 million for him. I want to play him. Like, I've just paid 40 million for him. But like when you see on Twitter, they say, "Oh, like this player isn't playing, that player isn't playing." But football's also a science now, like oxygen levels and stuff like that's all modern. But I don't think people actually understand. Like, it's not just a case of, "Oh, he's trained well today, he's in the squad." They do like all sorts of stuff, don't they? And it's if you're not up for it, if your body ain't conditioned, because the Premier League is just fast, it's hard, and I think that plays a part. I'm on Twitter. I got invited, and I think most of the guys are like African, like fans, etc. Lovely bunch of guys. Why isn't Keita playing? Because they kick a ball and break. You know, I love him. He's a brilliant player. But and I think what it is, it's like, because listen to a podcast, is like some of these African boys try too hard. I think that's half of his problem. He's just trying too hard. But like, you can't risk starting Keita because there's always that risk that he's going to get injured. I don't want him to. And, you know, it's not me putting him down because he's a great player. But unless he can stay fit, he's no good. He's no good to us. But I want him to sort of, like, perhaps next season, you know, turn that corner and bang. Because I think he'd make a lot of difference to our midfield and to our squad. Massive difference. Brilliant player. Absolutely superb. But I say, it's just keeps getting injured.
It's like
sometimes they need to learn it, don't they? Get kicked about a little bit to build it up and realise what the Premier League's about. And sometimes it takes a season. So, but Joe Linton's had 2 now, by the way, and he's still shite.
He's got a cracking goal.
He scored a great goal from 2 yards.
I know. That's like 3 and 2 now. He's on fire.
3 and 2. I know. Oh God, let's not go there. So that's the banter over with, boys. It's been a great show, but there's one more question for you both. Shaun, score prediction.
Right, let's go with. I'm going to do 2, right? Because I'm going to go with head and heart. Heart is going to. Heart's 3-0, but head we're at home 1-0.
Wow. See, I never expected that.
Because at home it's not me being like negative, but it's just what it is at the moment. But yeah, I mean, we might turn on back 3-0, but 1-0, 1-0, I think. But my heart says 3-0.
Yeah. If you offered me 1-1 now, I'd snap your hands off for it. I'll rip both your arms off for it, to be fair, because that would be an amazing result for us. Craig, what about you?
I'd probably take it 3-0, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Yeah, goal difference is important.
Well, it is.
We say this every week. It's an extra point.
Exactly. You know, it could be anything. But I think Newcastle seem to be playing reasonably well at the minute. Obviously, the second half against West Ham was a bit dubious, and we'll let them come at us and got a bit squeaky bum time, I think. But you know, Liverpool's not a place where you go and attack them, because they'll hit you on the break and they'll end up. They've got the players that they've got. You give them any opportunity, they'll, you know, destroy you really. So, I think I would love to say we're going to win, but we're not. Even with Liverpool's home form, we could have played you a few months ago when you were losing. That would have been much better. But you know, I'd be, you know, 2-0, 3-0 is probably going to be I think we'll come away with that. I think we'll be happy. Really, I would probably say. But fingers crossed we get something on Monday night.
Yeah, you know, also on Monday night 2-2. To be fair, and he's sticking to it. Dave says great show. Love the crack. Thanks, Dave. Dave's a lovely guy.
So what the chances of it being 3-3 and then nicking it back post in the last minute?
As long as it's us who gets the 4, it'll be all right. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Joe back post. Yeah.
Oh God. I think everything would be forgiven if he did that.
Yeah, you'd have to swallow humble pie your next show, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Desmond, brave Paul. To be honest with you, now that you've got yourselves together, and that Champions League spot is looking a lot closer than what it was a month ago. Definitely. I can't see anything other than maybe a 3-1, 4-1 Liverpool win. I mean, I'd take a draw, don't get me wrong, but I think you'd win 3-1, 4-1. It's just the way it is, you know. Yeah, he's got his finger. You don't need to cross anything. I said to you when I asked you to come on the show, do you want to come and talk about the 3 easiest points you're going to have all season?
You did, that was your exact DM, wasn't it? Oh no, that was on the Twitter, wasn't it? It was, yeah, that was it. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We can exchange some tweets, perhaps. Come sort of half.
Definitely.
1 o'clock on Saturday.
Unfortunately for me, I am actually on 2 night shifts. So I go on night shift tomorrow night, 7 till 7. So I won't actually see the game on Saturday because I'll be in bed. which is a
Being
shame.
there, mightn't it? Might be a good thing,
But-
really.
Exactly. I think that's probably the best time a night shift has fallen for me so far this season.
But then Sod's Law says you miss one of your games of the season, wasn't it? It's just
Well,
This
bad,
is
isn't
it. I mean, I might sneak up and watch it and then go back to sleep again. I can't promise anything though, because I hate night shifts. I'm always knackered. So, but yeah, I literally can't see anything past a win for you guys. And I think top 4 is now in your hands. West Ham are struggling with the injuries they've got, so I think you're going to nick it
They got
in
some,
front of Chelsea.
Declan Rice being injured is important for them. Isn't it?
Huge for them.
Yeah.
Massive. So yeah. But thanks for coming on, Sean. I really appreciate your
No
input.
worries.
It's great
Enjoyed
to have
it.
another
Good
fan
fun.
on from the club. And yeah, it's like I say, I like to think me and Craig are very easy to talk to when it comes to things like that. We're not idiots
Some great banter.
like some fans are.
Nice
brilliant.
banter,
Have a
some
good rest of you.
Good. I'll just pop these in the background and I'll be 1 minute just finishing the show off.
Cheers.
See you
Cheers,
later, bro.
everyone.
So that's the look ahead finished. Great show with Sean coming on as a Liverpool fan, and Craig has always been my Newcastle buddy. And there's a few more little things coming in. I mean, 2 or 3 no Liverpool yet. I get what you mean, Chippers. We all think Liverpool are going to win. So I hope we're wrong. I really do. I hope we can nick a point on Saturday. I really do. But with West Brom getting beat, Fulham, unfortunately for them, conceding a 97th minute goal, I think that's killed them as well. I think we're absolutely safe, and that's why I'm not asking the question anymore. Are we going to get relegated? Because we're not. 8 points, we are safe, guys. And that is a brave thing to say, because that could bite me in the backside, but I am positive we are going to stay up. But one last quick mention: as soon as I hit 500 subscribers, someone will win that for free, so please get subscribing, and some lucky person will have that sent to them in the post. So thanks for watching, guys.